I still see a ton of people having problems with their sunroofs on their F-150s. Anywhere from a 15 up to even up to 23 models, I still see people having problems. And these problems could be over bumps, you hear a rattle over your sunroof or somewhere in your sunroof, or your sunroof could plain old just not work and operate at all. If maybe you hit the back button and it comes down and just stops and it's like stuck, that could also be a cause of this. So I figured I might as well go ahead and show a video on how to do it, since I see so many people struggling with these. So first thing first, and this is pretty important, make sure your sunroof is in the vent option right here. Make sure it is vented, because you will not be able to get the guides in unless it is vented. You can come up to these little accordion looking things, just kind of pull them back. There's clips top and bottom, and when you actually do this TSB, you can get a new set of these, but you can also reuse the old set as long as you don't rip them and you're not too hard with them. So go ahead and get those both out of the way here, and then you're gonna have 3 fasteners on each side. One here, here, and here. They have a Torx head, a T25, or is an 8mm hex head. Whichever way you prefer, take all 3 of those out and don't lose them. Once you get all 6 of those out, you can just set those aside for now. And I can actually already see the problem here. I'm not sure if you can see it on camera, but there's a crack right here. This is the inside of the sunroof guide here. And these things are pretty brittle. Over the time of use of your sunroof, they will crack and break, and that will cause your sunroof to not work. So after you get those 6 out, then you can go ahead and lift up on your sunroof glass. I personally like to lift it all the way out, grab a hold of it, and position it back into the vehicle. Tends to be the easiest method. And you can gain access to the top side of both of the guides. Usually just a smaller flathead, a smaller Phillips, and a pair of pliers is all you're gonna need. You can start the process by taking off this small Phillips here in the front. And I like to do one side at a time, so that's what we're gonna do. There's this little plastic piece that just sits in that groove down there. Set those out of the way. And then you can come over here with your screwdriver, just kind of give this a little pry here so that this piece is freed up and you can slide that out of the way. This piece is for your trough for your sunroof. That's going to expose 2 more Phillips. Go ahead and take those out as well. And that'll allow you to remove this small plastic piece as well. This will come new with the kit, and it is specific to a side. Make sure you pay attention to what side you take this off of. Then you can come to the back here and you can pry out your trough and where it connects to the guide. That just gets pushed in with this little clip here. Then after that, the guide is ready to come out. I personally like to get my flathead down here and just kind of get a little bite and start pushing it forward. As long as you work it, it'll come out. It'll pop out of the front here. Then you can slide the guide back onto this little spot and then pull towards you, and then that'll remove the guide completely. And again, you can see where the guide was broken in here in several areas. So that definitely was probably the culprit of why the sunroof was not working. Got your old guide off. We can go ahead and open our box of new guides here. And inside should come with 2 new guides, of course, left and right hand side. And then you'll have a little baggie here with some new hardware. And like I said, they are specific to each side, so just line your new one up with the one you just took off, so that way you know what side you're putting on. See, that one is going to be for the other side. And you can see that one matches. So that's going to be for this side. It's basically an exact reverse removal procedure. So you come down and you place it over that nipple again. Then you can slide it forward on the track. And this is where it can get a little tricky here. You're going to need two hands. But this little push pin groove right here on each side is going to slide into a channel down in here evenly. And it can be tricky, and you want to be careful with it because they break very easily. The best way to do it is to try to get one side started, which you can kind of see I already have one side started. And you can push it in, and after it's kind of started in there like this, you can see it's at an angle because there's this nipple here. Sometimes you can grab it from the front and slowly, gently pry it into place. And eventually it will go into place. So that's going to be the new one installed right there. Now I'll open up my new bag of hardware, which I don't think you really need to replace all this stuff, but if they give it to you, you might as well. So go ahead and match up the pieces. You can see that the front of this has an angled downward slant. So that's going to be the same one for this side. That just drops right back into place. Sometimes you may have to maneuver it forward and backward to get it to drop in. Then you can replace your two Phillips head screws here, which you only replace these because they apply Loctite onto the threads. And they don't have to be tight, they just have to be snug. Then you can come up to that small black piece that you started with, push down on the wind deflector, and you should be able to guide that into its spot. Locate the screw that fastens it. Just go ahead and tighten that down. You don't have to over tighten it. Then you can come back and pry the guide outward again so you can slide forward the trough piece. And that trough piece has a little spot that just pushes into place here. And this is what I use the pliers for. You just kind of get behind it, give it a squeeze till it pops into place. Then you can give your new guide a small pry and slide forward your trough till that pops into place. Make sure that's operating correctly. And that is one side complete of the guide. Do the exact same procedure for the other side, and you have two new guides installed. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the same to the other side, replace the right hand guide as well. Then I'm gonna throw the sunroof glass back in it, and I'll show you guys how to initialize it. And you're going to also line it up on top. That way you don't have a water leak when you're done with this. Because believe you me, you will have a water leak if you don't line it up. Alright, so once you got all the screws back in, you go ahead and turn it to accessory, and you can take it out of vent mode. It might be finicky with you. If it is, just go ahead and loosen the screws up, because that just means it needs to be adjusted. Kind of just give it a little push around and try to take it out of vent mode again. So there, it's out of vent mode. Sometimes this is a lot easier to do if you have somebody to help you. Stand outside of the truck here, and you can bring your hand inside and you can push up on the sunroof glass because you want it to line up with the top here. You don't want to have this gap and this dip here because water will come in. So push all that up and then go in and tighten it as you're holding it because you want it to sit flush. All right, as soon as you have your sunroof glass tightened back into place and adjusted, and it's tightened down for the last time, we're going to start the initialization. Just because it's loud in my shop, I'm going to shut the windows. All right, so you're going to start with this procedure with the driver's door open. All the other doors need to be shut in order to have these interior lights on because the door's open. Click it once or just turn your key over to accessory. Do not start it. Then you can go ahead by shutting the door. And the minute that these lights go off, you're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and hold the forward button. And it's gonna take a second here. You're gonna be holding for a little while, and then it'll start doing something. So right there, you can see it just went to vent mode and the shade's coming forward because it's starting the initialization. Keep in mind the sunroof did not work when it first came here. So you can see the shades going back now. Now the glass is going to come down. You want to release and press again and hold the same forward button. As you can see now, the sunroof is opening. So the guides did in fact fix it. Keep holding it until the glass fully shuts and until the shade fully shuts. As soon as the shade fully shuts, you can release and it'll be fully initialized for your one-touch feature. And once it stops, you can release, shut the vehicle off, and it's initialized. So just to test it really quick, we're just gonna click the back button one touch. And that one touch is going to just open your moonroof to the first level. So we'll try shutting it now with one touch. All right. So as you can see, that did officially fix it. Now, if you did get a new set of these interior guides, you can go ahead and throw those on, or if you're reusing the old ones, you can keep those on there as well. I'll try my best to show you how to put them on. So really what you're gonna do is line this back piece up to that little black clip, and then you come up to the top of the window. There's gonna be a little lip up there, and you can just push this on to that lip. And then down here there are little clips as well, and there's a little channel. You just want to hook it into the bottom piece of that channel. I believe there's 4 of them here. 3, and yeah, so there's 3, and then the front one just tucks. But after you're done with that, you're officially done with the job. It's sort of a customer courtesy to clean up all the fingerprints, but if you're doing this on your own vehicle, it's entirely up to you. Like I said, I just wanted to show a video on how to do this because I've been putting these guides in for 7 years now, and I probably did make it look way easier than it is. But like I said, I've been doing this for years, and if you're gentle with it, you should be able to get it in just fine also. Another thing, if you have a 15 through a 20 model truck, this should still be an open TSB with your dealership. And what I mean by that is if you take your truck in and it's having these issues, they should fix it for free. The TSB here. The TSB is 212292, and the part number for the guides is right here. So If you're experiencing this issue, you can take your truck to the dealer and it should still be covered. If not, it still is pretty cheap to replace the guides.